recorded version of this. Thank you so much for being a part of VolunteerFEST 2020. Unfortunately, we can't be together in person, but we are so grateful that we have the technology and the means to be able to bring this information to you so that hopefully we can find a great volunteer fit, not only for those of you watching, but also for the fantastic agencies and the work that they're doing who still have these needs, even though this pandemic is taking place. With that, I do want to give kind of the disclaimer that all these sessions are being recorded so that those that cannot make it at this given time will still be able to hear the information. And if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to unmute and ask, or you can raise your little Zoom hand or use the chat, and we will make sure that those questions get answered for you. So with that, I am very pleased to turn this over to Brenda and Brad from Journey Together Service Dog, Inc. Take it away.
Thank you. I'm glad to have people here watching our presentation, hoping that we might find somebody who has an interest in working with service dogs in the future. Journey Together is celebrating our 5th year. We're in our anniversary year, or finishing our 5th year, I should say, and during the course of the last 5 years, all the dogs that you see in the picture here are dogs that have been placed in our working service dogs or facility dogs, making a difference in people's lives. Journey's mission is to provide highly trained service dogs at no charge to qualified Wisconsin residents. While that's our mission, we occasionally do have dogs that are qualified to be facility dogs and are placed in facilities, places like Gold Cross, Christine Ann Domestic Abuse. We have a dog at a school for children on the autism spectrum and in Sparta PD. So the question I have for people as they think about whether or not they want to participate and volunteer is, how do you feel about making a profound difference for somebody else in the world? When we place a service dog, we ask our clients how they feel about it and what the dog is going to do for them and how it'll make a difference. And these are a couple of the quotes. These are 3 of our dogs that are placed and out in the community working and making a difference for people. They certainly enable people to do things that they didn't feel like they could do alone, or be more confident and more comfortable in the things that they do. Here's an example of one of our dogs that was placed with a veteran. She, as you can see here, she's resting her head on his knee. He has a prosthetic. One of the things she did and learned to do as a byproduct was she would retrieve his prosthetic leg for him. But she would go to the grocery store with him, offer comfort, offer guidance, make him much more confident about being out in public. Our spouses of our clients will talk about how much their spouse changes as a result of having the service dog. They talk about how different things are and how much better it is for the person who's the recipient of a dog. Here's an example of Ross. Ross is at the Christine Ann Domestic Abuse Center. He works with a therapist in her therapy sessions, and as you can see, he's kind of a couch potato. But his job is to be there and offer comfort and support. Children have an opportunity to interact with him. He's a safe dog for them to talk to read to, and he is an icebreaker for the staff as well as the people that are going through trauma. This is a picture of Xanthos. Xanthos is with the Sparta Police Department. And on his very first call out, he helped an autistic child leave the car and confidently walk in and walk into the hospital. So there was minimal stress for the child as they walked along with Xanthos. And he's an ambassador, so he goes and helps people that are going through trauma and are experiencing very serious, difficult situations. Here's Indigo. This is another one of our dogs that's making a difference. Indigo works at a school for children on the autism spectrum. He offers comfort and support. He sets an example when the children brush their teeth. Indigo sits in line and he also gets his teeth brushed. The children are learning through working with Indigo responsibility and empathy and compassion. Here's one of our other dogs. This dog graduated this summer. This is Yates. He's working with an individual who's in a wheelchair. Our clients will talk about things that they become able to do as a result of having the dog. They can go outside, enjoy the outdoors, they can go to stores, they can, some of them are using the dogs to help them go back into the work environment, but they really make a difference for them. So when we think about how these dogs make a difference and what's essential for the dogs to do, we talk about the dog's skills, and our attributes are the first thing. These dogs need to learn to be quiet. They can't be distracting. We really, for the most part, want them to be invisible. We want them to just hang out. They need to be friendly, but they need to be focused on their person. It's important that these dogs pay attention to the person that they're partnered with, so that if the person needs assistance, the dog is able to provide it. We also talk about the dogs being calm and them being confident. They're up for anything, they're ready to go, and they can help their family. Our dogs learn close to 80 commands before it's all said and done, so that they are able to meet different needs or different circumstances.
Still tells us you're there.
Behaviors that our dogs can perform, alerting behavior or interruption. These are situations where the individual is becoming anxious and they need the dog to ground them and help them come back to the current situation or help them get over being startled. Turning on lights or pushing buttons. This would be common things would be that handicap button or turning on lights if a crime victim has difficulty going into a room in the house that's dark, for example. The dogs can go in ahead of time and help with that. Alerting to the presence of others. Many of our clients who have post-traumatic stress disorder find a need for the dogs to provide space for them or to watch their back. Quite literally, in this example, the dog is looking backwards while the person's facing forward. A good example, you might see that in a grocery store line where the person is worried about somebody coming up behind them and being too close to them. Deep pressure therapy, tactile stimulation, and grounding were all examples where the dog is there. The handler will often reach down, pet the dog, rub their ears to bring them back to the current and help them avoid serious flashbacks. The dogs can be trained to lead the handler to a location based on a cue. So if the person is concerned about finding exits of a very busy store or finding their car, or things like that, the dogs are able to lead you back, lead you to that exit, or lead you out until you're out to your car. This adds for the person confidence that they can go shopping and they know that if something comes up, they are able to leave very quickly because of the help of the dog. So the question we have is, can you share your heart and can you share your home with one of these puppies as they're going through training? When you're interested in working with the Dogs with Journey together, we have 3 different scenarios that people tend to volunteer in. The classic razor scenarios when a dog lives with somebody full time. These dogs are their responsibility. They're integrated into the household, but they're not pets. They need to hold themselves to a very specific standard, and we teach our raisers how to raise the dogs and how to hold them to that standards, as well as to teach our raisers how to train the skills that the dog's going to need to be successful. Some people don't want to be a full-time raiser, don't want to have primary responsibility for a dog, so they become, we call them a sitter. This is somebody who takes the dog for a shorter period of time. Maybe it's a weekend while the primary raiser is on vacation. Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a week or 2 weeks, but during that time as a sitter, the person is taking care of the dog. They're addressing maybe specific skills that that dog needs to learn. Very focused during that time, but also giving the dog new experiences. Our third category of volunteers are socializers. Socializers tend to take the dogs for a day trip, maybe an overnight, but it's a shorter trip with the intention of giving the dog opportunities to learn something or see something that they might not see. For instance, we have a couple of volunteers that do a lot of things with horses, and for the dogs that are with other volunteers, they have no opportunity to see horses, for example, and this is a way that we can offer the widest variety of experiences for the dogs. For people that don't want to have the dogs in their home, don't want to be doing a lot of handling with dogs, we love to have people who are willing to work with our team. So beyond the raising and training of dogs, we always need help and are thankful for the people that like to do things like fundraising, public speaking, or raising community awareness. We have a website and social media that needs attention on a regular basis, and anybody who has a passion for that, we can supply pictures and they can put quotes on them. Again, it's about raising awareness. Presentations we talked about a little bit already, creating training materials or other print materials that need to be used for distribution, or helping place dogs with the people that they will help. So we have people that assist us when we're actually training somebody to use the dog that they're receiving from Journey. So the question I have for all of you is, will you join us in profoundly improving someone's life? Are you willing to help us? I'm going to switch gears now because a demonstration is essential for people to get to see the dogs. You don't want to go to hear about a dog training group and not actually get to see a dog. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to move into the other area and I will introduce you to one of our dogs. I'll be right back.
Thanks, Brenda. What I absolutely love, while Brenda's kind of switching gears here and moving, I love the fact that if you believe in service dogs and the work they're doing in Journey Together sounds good, man. This is such a great agency that all you do is, you know, reach out and they're going to find a place that works for you. Like Brenda was mentioning, whether it's, you know, full-time having that dog to being a sitter to doing something that doesn't have anything to do with dogs, but, you know, you believe in what they're doing so well, there's a place for you at Journey Together Service Dogs. So looks like Brenda's ready. I'm gonna be quiet and watch the demonstration.
My personal dog is photo bombing for us, so we're gonna move him out of the way here.
Well, you had treats, so I mean,
you know, it's all about food. So Emerson, I'm going to introduce you to Ember. Ember is a Fox Red Labrador Retriever. She is about 2.5 years old, and she is just about ready to go to her new job. In fact, I think this week she'll be starting that process, and she'll be helping people in other parts of the state. And I'm not going to tell you where. You'll have to look at our website and our Facebook page, and you can watch Ember on her journeys. But I'm going to start with basic commands that the dogs learn, and then I'll talk about some more advanced stuff. So I just have her on the platform so it's easy for you to see her. Ember down. Ember stand. Ember sit. Very nice. So those are just basic commands that most people like to teach their dogs at home to make them into good pets. One of the other things many people tend to do is teach their dogs to go to their bed or go to their place. Ember, place. Place. Very nice. Good girl. So this gets her out of the way. We usually use a bigger bed. I used a smaller one just here for the purposes of the demonstration. But this would be an example. We might use this so she knows exactly where to go, so she's on the side. If you were cooking dinner or if somebody came to the door, she would go to her place and she would hang out at her place. Ember here, you pause up. Ember knows how to put 2 feet on a surface. Ember, get on, get on. Good, and she'll go all the way on. So, for example, getting into a car, she can put 2 feet up or she can jump in. All of our service dogs ride either in a crate to keep them safe, or they ride on the floor on the passenger side. So in the front seat on the floor. That gives them protection from the vehicle as far as where passengers' legs would be in a protected mode. So our dogs lay down so that they don't distract the handler or the driver while they're driving the car, and they're as safe as we can possibly make them. Good girl. Good down. You stand. When we talk about service dog skills for people who have post-traumatic stress disorder, I'm going to move this back just a little bit for you. One of the things the dogs do, oh, and we're going to want that in the video, Brad. Oh, okay. Pull up that part. Amber, please. One of the things the dogs do is they interrupt when somebody is starting to get very anxious to help the person come back to the here and now. So the way an interruption works, most of our clients will bounce their leg as one of their signs of anxiety. And when their leg starts bouncing, the dog will come up and they'll lay their head across your lap and they'll interrupt, trying to get your attention. And they'll keep going until they actually get you to acknowledge them. We've had clients that have rubbed their hand over their heart. We've had clients that did this and we wanted the dog to come up underneath. You come here, right? Give attention, right? As ways for the dog to interact and help the person kind of come back to the here and now. One of the things in the pictures I talked about was an example where the dog would offer space. So if I was in a grocery store and somebody came up too close to me, I could have Ember cross. Whoop, right here. Good. She's going to stand right here, right between me and that person and give me confidence. Here. Good girl. She leans against my legs so I can feel where she is. Usually when a dog does that, somebody who's talking to me would take a step back. It would also give me some more physical space. Okay, good. We also talked about for example, a grocery store line. Ember here. We might want Ember to watch my back. Here, check. In this case, it would look like this. Stay. Stay. No, right here. Good. So I'd be standing in line, I'd be looking forward, and I'd have my dog right next to me here. Those are ways that in a public setting, the dog might give me some help. Ember here, back under. If I go to a restaurant, did you bump? Yeah, good girl. If I go to a restaurant, because she's a service dog, under the Americans with Disabilities Act, she's allowed to come into the restaurant with me if I'm a disabled individual. And this would be an example of where she would lay. She lays out of the way for people, so nobody trips over. I know she's here, I know she's safe, and she's able to support me if I need her assistance. But at the same time, she's not interrupting anybody else, and she's not interfering with other people having their dinner. Good girl. Should we show some tricks? Come on over. Jump on. So one of the things we like to do with our dogs is our dogs need to be about 2 years old, at least, before we consider placing them. And that's so that they have the mental maturity to be able to be responsible and do the job. So one of the things that happens with that is we can teach the skills much faster. Those basic skills, there isn't a lot to that other than teaching consistency and reliability with it. So we teach them a lot of tricks. The tricks have a meaning and a purpose for some of their skills, but the tricks are also a way for the dogs to learn, to love to learn, because for the rest of this life, this dog is going to learn. This dog is going to be working for somebody, and we want to have them enjoy the job. So for example, we'll get some stuff out here. So this box is pretty small. You can see it's not all that big, and we're going to see if we can get Ember to go into the box. Okay, Ember here. Ember, get in. Girl, can you sit? Good. Ember, tuck. Oh, good girl. Now, while that seems like kind of just a big game, nope, tuck. Down. Go on, lay down. No, lay down. This is also teaching the dog to be able to get themselves nice and small for in the car. So if the dog was riding on the passenger side on the floor, this is about the amount of space that they would have to ride. Or if they were flying with their person on an airplane, we need the dog to understand how to curl up and be nice and small to fit in the leg room area for the person as a passenger. Okay. Come on over here. Good girl. Jump on. Good. Yes. So another example of games that we play with the dogs. Some of the dogs learn, we call it bucket, which is pick their toys up and put it in a bucket. Are you ready? Wait. Oh, they're going everywhere. Ready? Okay, Amber, take it. Oh, that's one I left in there. Thank you. Go over there. Take it. Take it. Okay. Come on. Put it in. Oh, you dropped it. Let's try that again. Take it. You're sloppy. Take it. Bucket. Nope. Take it. Bucket. No, you're trying again. Take it. Bucket. Here. Drop it. Good. Go get another one. Back up. Back up. Take it. Good. Here. Bucket. Oh, good job on that one. All right. Back up. Amber, back up. Go ahead. Back. Back. Keep going. Right there. Take it. Bring it over. Put it in. Oh, good girl. Good job. Come on up here. Here. Jump on. Another thing we talk about is the dogs pushing buttons for people. A handicap button that would be on the wall. Here you go. Button. Hit it. Harder. We gotta hit it harder. There. Good girl. So that would be a handicap button to open a door. If we needed her to be turning on lights for somebody. Good girl. That's another example. Can you do a button again? Button. Good job. Good. And then another game that we play, tug would be an example. We'll get the tug rope out here. Our dogs learn how to tug. Okay, Amber, here. Here we go. Take it, tug. Tug would be based as a game. Oops. But it also, if somebody had difficulty getting out of a chair, for example, here, take it. Tug. Back up, tug, tug. She might be used to help pull them up, to stand up. Or she might be used, Amber, here. This way. Right here. She might brace, and a brace would look like this. Stay. And I might use her to balance myself to get up and getting in and out of a chair. Good job. That was very nice. You're very serious looking right now. Brad, can you think of any other skills that I'm missing on the list? Oh, we didn't do the rings.
Poke, touch.
Oh, touch. Oh, we missed touch, one of your favorites. Amber, touch. Good girl. Amber, touch. We teach the dogs to nose touch or hand touch. It's one of our basic skills, but it's the start. So you can see that a nose touch can turn into touching the button to push the button. It can also turn into something that we call poke, poke, poke. So we can teach the dogs to get our attention. This goes into interruption when somebody is anxious, or you would use this if she was going to go to somebody who had a hearing deficit. This would be a way for them to get your attention. Can you poke? Right here, poke. Thank you. Nice job. Ember likes to play with rings. These are plastic rings that we have. So for playing a game with a child, let's put you up here again. Yeah. There, can you take it? Hold it. Yep. Oh, very nice. So for a child, this is a way that she could interact if she was going to be a facility dog for somebody. She also does, paw. Thank you. Can I have paw on the other one? Very nice. Good girl. How about this? We're gonna show off here. Come here. Can you pray? Oh, so that's chin. She's offering me a behavior there. That turns into a way, it creates a connection for people. You pause up. No. Here. Pause up. Right here. Go. No, that's your chin. We had that already. Pause up. Let's go. Here we go, babes. Come on. Pause up. Amber, pause. No, pause. Okay, here we go. Pause up. There we go. Good. Can you pray? And then she hides her eyes. These games that we teach are all used so that if somebody has the dog, it's a way for them to show what the dog can do. It's a matter of pride. It gives them something to talk about with friends and family instead of talking about bad things. It's an opportunity to talk about something fun and entertaining with the dog.
And then I have to imagine, Brenda, that, you know, because like you said, you're instilling this learning culture really into the dog's life, that when they get their placement, they really learn their person very well, right? So the need for even some of those commands disappears because the dog can pick up the subtle signs.
Yeah, so a good example of that was, for instance, when I was bouncing my leg and the dog comes and interrupts, the dogs will find patterns that people don't see in each other. What the dogs will figure out, things like Brenda always rubs her hands like this on her legs before she starts bouncing them. So the dogs will start reacting to the hand rubbing or whatever the precursor is. We feel like they just know us that well. In fact, it's because dogs spend their lives watching us and learning what we're doing and paying attention to patterns. You get down. That's what causes that, right? But they will build that connection. You know, Ember's been trained to do things like this where she puts her head on my lap. This is called visit. But it's all ways to build a connection and keep the person grounded, make them feel, whoops, you're slipping off of there. It's kind of small, isn't it? Yes. Make the person have something else to worry about, brings them outside of themselves a little bit, and just really creates that connection in the world.
Yeah, and when they see those patterns, it truly helps them. You know, the more patterns they learn, if someone starts to be triggered by something, the dog learns it sooner and sooner. Maybe that trigger doesn't become as serious as it might otherwise, right?
Right. Yeah. And so an example of that would be if I was at the store and I was waiting in a super long line. I might start doing stuff. I might start having Ember do some of these things that are tricks. Right. Come here. So we might be standing there, and to fill the time a little bit, Ember, here, right here, ready? Go to circle. Oh, you're gonna, no, here, come this way, all the way around. Yay, now go the other way, come on. Here. She says, I know you've got no food. I am that. I figured it out, right? So we might play games. Here we go. All right, go this way. Nice, good, sit. You sit up, sit pretty, good girl. So we might do stuff like that. That keeps me in the here and now. It builds my confidence, and it gives me something to focus on versus becoming more and more hyper vigilant about what's going on around me when I'm in a safe place. So these dogs, those are the kinds of things that these dogs do. The byproduct of this is people are able to go back to work sometimes because of this. People are able to, we've had multiple people that talk about they hadn't been to Walmart maybe in 3+ years because it was too many people, it was too stressful. And when they have the dog with them, they feel confident, they'll take those kinds of things on. You'll see our dogs in the Oshkosh community pretty regularly, jump on, because our volunteers are taking these dogs out that are in training to give them experiences. Menards has been a good supporter of us. Lowe's has been a great supporter of us. Things like that. Grocery store runs. The YMCA has been another area. So for volunteers, it's important that you realize that we know you don't know how to do these things. And being part of the program, we teach you. We have many volunteers who have been raising the dogs that are at various skill levels. We give the dog to you based on what your skill and what your confidence level is, and we'll teach you as you go. So
That's great.
It's not about, I don't expect anybody to be a professional dog trainer before this whole process starts, but it certainly is an opportunity to learn. We've got families that have children that want to participate in it, so it becomes kind of a project for a whole family. We love those cases because we love to be in a situation where the dogs are getting exposure to children and cats and the craziness that comes along with children in sports, and a very busy household as much as a very quiet household. And we rotate the dogs. So when somebody has one of our dogs and they're raising them, we go through stages where they go to different people so they learn different things. They go from a household that has no animals in it to my household with my dogs, or somebody else's household with cats, or somebody else's household with children. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to stack all of these experiences on top of each other for the dogs. So when they go with the final person, they've seen so many of these things that the dogs are very confident and very comfortable in new and strange environments.
That's great. That's great. So once again, could you, first of all, anybody that's watching live, feel free to pop into the chat if you have a question. I know everybody, I made sure everyone was muted, but feel free to unmute and ask. But if you could, once again, if someone was interested in either learning more or seeing where their fit is with Journey Together Service Dog, could you once again tell us the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Absolutely. If you follow us on Facebook, if you look or search for Journey Together Service Dog, you'll find us on Facebook, and you'll see all sorts of activities that are going on with the dogs. So you'll see them in different places. For instance, we did a Halloween shoot where we had Halloween costumes on each of the dogs. And while that seems goofy, the intent behind that is for the dog to learn to tolerate weird things happening and silly hats and all sorts of stuff that goes along with it. So it's a piece of our socialization. So you can see those pictures on Facebook. We're getting ready. December will be our month where our dogs in training will all be doing their Christmas pictures as well out there. You can also find us on our website at journeytogetherservicedog.org. On that site, we have a whole section on how you can participate or ways that you can make a difference in the community. And that talks about an application to be a raiser, to be a socializer with a dog. And again, like I said, if you have questions, our email address is there. There's a phone number there that you can call as well. And we welcome people with as much diversity as we can. The more diversity that people have and the more diverse their environment is, the more the dog learns and the better he's equipped for his future job of helping somebody.
That's great. And you did, like you mentioned before, whether, maybe someone's not comfortable or ready to work with the dog, you mentioned that there were definitely ways they could still be involved without having direct contact with the dogs, yes?
Absolutely. And because of most of what we're doing is virtual, this in a world of COVID, this is an opportunity where you can certainly give back and donate time to help in ways that you find interesting and enjoyable.
Great. Well, Ember, awesome job. And Brenda, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. For those of you watching, don't hesitate to reach out to Journey Together Service Dog to learn more or to get connected with them and start helping them out in any way that fits for both parties involved, and spread the word too. But again, on behalf of Volunteer Fox Cities, Brenda, thank you. Those watching live or recorded, thank you as well. Be sure to check out our website, volunteerfoxcities.org/volunteerfest. You again will see all of Journey Together Service Dogs contact information if you didn't catch it when Brenda just said it, as well as the rest of the schedule for the rest of the week. And any